Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? It is great to have you with me. The Minnesota Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers 24-10. Finally, not a one-score victory. We put that W on Lambeau Field. And we've got very little joy out of it because we might have won the battle, but we lost the war. Kirk Cousins, Achilles, out for the season. May or may not have been his last game as a Minnesota Viking. We'll see. Oh, what a buzzkill, ladies and gentlemen. What a buzzkill. We had finally started to figure some things out. Why? Why do they do this to us? And as I said on the One Bar Lubbock show, they do the studs and turds thing. You know, the best player of the game, in your opinion, and the worst. I said the turd was the football gods because after giving us everything last year, 11 one-score victories, 8 fourth-quarter comebacks, you had to at some point know that they were going to come collecting for the debt that we owed them. And we paid our debts yesterday. That's for daggone sure. The football gods. I've said it one more time. I've said it a million times, actually. The Vikings are Lucy, and we as fans are Charlie Brown, trying to kick that football and having it pulled out from under us every time. Every time. If you didn't wipe your feet at the door, hit that like button. And if this is your first time seeing me, hit that subscribe button as well. We got a lot of people in the building. Scoldger Soup wins the first one in. Holidays. Yes, I see what you did there. I appreciate you. Although somebody did put that in the chat on Rapping for Days last night, so I can't take credit for it. Shout out to Grandpa Dave from Vikings First and SKOL. Hit him up on YouTube and podcast. Thanks for joining me. He and Tyler, once again, great show. Great show. OG, the McAndrews, what's going on? I appreciate you. Appreciate you. We have the matriarch, one young Mary Fisk in the building. Thank you, Mary. I hope you're doing well. Good luck tomorrow. Still put those hands up and those prayers up like the McAndrews did for Mary. Appreciate you. Dayon in the building. What's going on? And I got it right this time. Gosh darn it. Thanks for coming by. We got Dave Thibodeau in the building. What's up, Dave? So we got at least 2 Daves so far. My guy T-Bass, what's going on? Kirk, time to move on. Madison, time to move on. Scene, time to move on. Free up some roster spots and see what Hall can do. And McBride. We're going to talk about that, T-Bass. We're going to talk about him. My worthless opinion is in the house. The single greatest YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace handle of all time, because your opinion is rarely, if ever, worthless, especially on my show. We got a house call from the doctor, Dr. Proto in the building. What's going on? What's going on? SKOL Bro, SKOL Mafia. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Appreciate your support as always. We got Dan in the building. What's going on, Dan? Proof that God is a Vikings fan because the sunset are purple and gold. You are correct. Sunset on us last night, unfortunately. T-Bass says, cold reality, we beat San Francisco, a team that doesn't look real good 3 against. Yeah. It always is something, isn't it? Two-Tone Tony in the building. That was awesome. I don't know if you're talking about the thumbnail or the description of Kirk-tober versus Holiday, but either way, I appreciate you. We got 6 Shooter Gaming in the building. SKOL Raiders. Why is it that somehow, some way, the Lions are struggling with the Raiders? I don't get it. This is a crazy, crazy league. Yeah, it does suck. What's up, Ryan? I appreciate you. It was the most hollow win against the Packers. You know, here's the thing. When Aaron Rodgers took over for Brett Favre in 2008, they played us week 1, and we played them later in the season. And that was the first time that Childress had beaten Mike McCarthy, and they started both at the same time, right? So McCarthy was 5-0. And so we finally beat them. But at the time, it was like, oh, yeah, well, we beat the Packers, but Brett Favre's not there. Now, Aaron Rodgers himself turned into another Hall of Fame quarterback. So at the end of the day, yeah, okay, I get it. But, yeah, it was very, very hollow. I mean, Jordan Love is just absolutely garbage. The Packers are so garbage. I listened to some of the Packers wine line, the postgame show, and it was just delicious. Let me tell you how it was. It was so delicious. They are like, fire everybody. It's like, fire everybody. What did you expect was going to happen? Fire everybody. Y'all don't know. Y'all starting to find out what it's like to not have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Ryan, I did see that you reached out to me. I just had a lot of stuff going on, so I'll try to get to you later. If not, I'll try to get you tomorrow, but I did see you. SKOL for Life Barber, 175. What's up, Barber? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I would never wish that on anybody. Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, he was balling out. He was. I was about to do a video yesterday. I was taking some notes. I was cutting up some highlights, and I was going to say Kirk Cousins deserves to be in the MVP conversation. And then he tears his Achilles. Great. Just great. Thanks a lot. What's up, Two-Tone? What's up? Every time. That's why we're Vikings fans. Yes, that is indeed why. Shout out Drop Shot. What's going on, Jake? What's everybody up to? Keep it 100. Shouldn't trade or something. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'm definitely going to talk about that. That's right. Good point, SKOL Mafia. I forgot. So, yes, 3 Daves in the building. Shout out, Mateo. What's up, my guy? These Lions helmets are ugly. All right. I haven't watched any of the game. I had to do a show on Purple and Scold, and then I had to get ready for this one. So, I haven't watched any of the game whatsoever. I knew I'd get it eventually. Hopefully, next time, it'll be 2 in a row. All right. Anybody else in the building right now before we get started? Okay. We got 6-shooter. I've been a Viking fan for 33 years. I really don't know anything else but Purple and Gold. Well, me neither. Ay, caramba. Well, if this is your first time here, thank you so kindly for joining me. Hit that subscribe button. But after I give the shout outs to everybody who's in the building right off the start of the show, we do some shout outs to some other people who we need to shout out as often as possible. So let me switch it up, and we're going to do it a little something like this. Shout out to every member of active or veteran members of our military, as well as your families, for the great sacrifices you have made for us so that we have the freedoms that we do. We cannot express how much we owe you. All we can do is say thank you. So for right now, to all of you veteran active members and your families, thank you so kindly for everything that you do and every freedom that you have given us. Shout out to let's try that again. Shout out to the brave men and women who serve as our police officers, firefighters, and EMS, who in times of tragedy are the ones running towards the danger, while the rest of us simply are trying to get away from it. Thank you so kindly. Every day you potentially put your lives on the line for us. So we say thank you, as well as to the doctors, nurses, frontline workers, surgeons, home health care providers, that in our time of medical need, you are there for us, and that your Super Bowl is to save a life. The men and women that I have named here oftentimes work thankless jobs. So for as long as I got a microphone and as long as I got people tuning in, whether it's one person, 20 people, I don't care. I'm going to say thank you to these brave men and women, because you know what? We all up in here, all upset about the Vikings, but you know what? There are more important things. So thank you to each and every person that serves one of those groups. All right, let's get back to the chats, and let's see what else we got in the building right now. We got Dylan. What's going on, Day? I want an interior offensive line. Well, we'll see. We're going to talk about what we should or should not do. We got Clifford in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. I appreciate you. Ryan says the Vikings may break your hearts, but as long as I'm mentally able and physically to enjoy the games, I ain't going nowhere. I appreciate you. You ain't lying. Dayon says, I turned 50. Oh, happy birthday. And hopefully Hall can give me a good victory celebration. You dang right. Everybody shout out Dayon and give him a happy birthday wish. Because, hey, we got to find something to be positive about. Something. Appreciate you, McAndrews. I appreciate you. Okay, let's get to it. And you know what? I'm going to start it where I always started, and that's the NFC North Roundup. The Vikings beat the Packers. We all know that. The Chicago Bears fall down. Chicago Bears. Oh, the Bears. The Bears lose last night to this Los Angeles Chargers of Anaheim, 30-13, and it wasn't even really that close. They're now 2-6. They're still a bottom feeder, and they will be for the rest of the season. I would like to see the Bears actually get a few more wins so that they're not in the Caleb Evans sweepstakes with their pick. And you know what? Carolina got a W yesterday. Carolina needs to get a few more W's as well. But anyway, obviously, since the Vikings played the Packers, that about rounds it out for the NFC North roundup. So we're going to get right into theme 2. The first half struggles continue. We only scored 10 points in the first half. We should have had at least 13. And frankly, we should have had at least 17 to 20. And what's funny about this is it doesn't really matter now because Kirk Cousins is gone. And now we're talking about Jaren Hall. So I guess all I'm going to say is this. Try to have a few more points than 10 a game in the first half, for crying out loud. But I'll say this, the Green Bay Packers. Well, they got a field goal in the first half on their last drive. They got one field goal. They are now up to 29 points in the first half. They're worse at it than we are. They're so bad. And I wish we could revel in it a little bit more. But 7 games is how many that the Packers have played. 29 points. I mean, that's 4 points a game in the first half. Oh, isn't it delicious? Isn't it delicious? Okay, the real stuff now. The tremendous turnaround of this Vikings defense. Because I'm going to start out, I'm going to leave Kirk Cousins and Jaren Hall for the end because everybody in the world is just always have beaten the Kirk Cousins thing to death. So I'm going to leave that to the end, and I'm going to get to the rest of this game at Lambeau Field yesterday. The tremendous turnaround that Brian Flores has done with this defense. Listen, going into this season, I had said a realistic expectation for this defense was probably going to be around ranked somewhere in the 20 to 24. That was realistic because we were so bad last year that expecting more than that was kind of, too high a standard. Well, guess what? They're ranked 16th in scoring and 19th in yards. Now, granted, we have played quite a few garbage teams. Again, we've mentioned them: Chicago, Green Bay, Carolina. But you know what? Despite the fact that they've lost 3 games in a row, San Francisco is still San Francisco. I know they didn't have Deebo Samuel. I don't care. You can only play who you play. And at the end of it, they have got this turned around. And they're going to need to step up their game now that Jaren Hall is going to be the quarterback. But we'll talk about him a little bit more later. Yesterday, the Green Bay Packers, first drive, 3 and out. Second drive, 3 and out. Third, fourth drive, 3 and out. They didn't get their first down until their 5th drive. Now, again, is that partially because the Packers are garbage? Yes. But at the same time, you can only play who you play, like I said. And this defense has turned it around. I would love to see this defense with one more interior pass rusher. I absolutely would. I don't know what the Vikings are going to do by 3:00 Central tomorrow, whether they're going to be buyers, sellers, or a team that just stays pat, because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables that would be like, okay, which way are we going? I don't know. But for right now, this defense has more than exceeded expectations. And I've said it a couple times that the defense did enough. 27 points against Patrick Mahomes at home, that's reasonable. That's reasonable, to say the least. To say the very least, that is reasonable. So I can't say enough. I can't say enough about how well this defense is done. So there's some solace in that anyway. I mean, it's not really enough because we still got 9 more games and we don't have a quarterback. Ugh. We got a defense, though. Is it the Zim Reapers defense? No. Is it the Baltimore Ravens in 2000 or the Bears in 85? No. But they're a serviceable defense. They're good. They're not great, but they're good. Back to the comments. You guys got a whole lot of them in here for me, so I know that there's some new people in the building. And you know what? We got to cut the music because I know I'm going to be playing something else here in a minute. Yeah, and first of all, we got to turn the loop off because we don't want that going on for forever. Shout out to my Worthless Opinion with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Worthless. Let me give you a little one of these. I give you 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Shout out not only for being in the building, but for Too Evil to Hope with the $5 super chat. Hey, Ice-T, what do you think has to happen before the trade deadline? Trade Darisaw? No, we ain't trading Darisaw, you fool. I'm going to give you one. right. Oh my gosh. Too evil. No, we are not trading. We're not trading Christian Darrisaw. Not on my watch. No way, no how. Shout out to Rap in the building. What's going on, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. We got Frozen North in the building. Good evening, folks. Okay, I got you. I see what you did there, Frozen. I see what you did there. Okay. We got a lot of birthday wishes. We got a lot of hellos, so I'm just going to keep going on down the list because I think I saw one more up in here. What's up again, Two-Tone? There was one. Stevie boy. Stevie Barnett. Thank you so very kindly for joining. Shout out Steve in the building. What's going on? What's going on? I'm trying not to be too somber here. I'm trying to stay positive, but how did we lose him? He was always healthy. We'll get back to him later. Defense was definitely fire. Yes, it was, Mafia. Yes, it was. So we'll see. We'll see. I think I got everybody. A lot of what's ups and hellos to you. So I'm not going to throw every single one up there. I want to know how Dave from Vikings First and SKOL automatically gets every chat to go up and then can, pick out whichever one we want. Shout out Sarah in the building. When can we trade two? Nah, we ain't trade them. We ain't trade them. So we got Mary and Sarah in the building. We got the queens going on. There we go. I don't know. I don't think so. But we'll get to that here in a minute. All right. Next theme. Jordan Addison is him. He is him. In the last two games, 14 catches, 205 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He has more than stepped up in the absence of Justin Jefferson. And prior to the bad news yesterday, I said I cannot wait for Justin Jefferson to get back because we legitimately have 2 number 1 wide receivers. We legitimately have the best duo of wide receivers in the NFL. Jordan Addison, he just absolutely, I don't even know what to say about the guy anymore. I really don't know what to say. So I'm going to play a couple clips here. One was, I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm not even going to tell you. It's like this.
As Love airs it out, looking for Reed. It's picked off. Josh Metellus with the interception. And Metellus is inside the 30, still going.
I don't know what the best part of that was. The interception and all the way down to the 20, or the dudes doing the thriller. That was so great. And what I love most about that is the Vikings, for the first time in a long time, delivered a kill shot in just one play.
Vikings start for the Packers 20. Cousins throws, caught, touchdown, Addison. A Lambeau leap into the arms of Vikings fans here in Green Bay.
The Lambeau leap by the visiting team. It doesn't get any better than that. Anyway, Jordan Addison, he's just on fire. And it gets back for me to an interview in the Star Tribune a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was right after JJ got injured, where he's like, I'm going to show the world that I should have been the first wide receiver pick, not the 4th wide receiver pick. And he's absolutely beaten everybody. In fact, I think he's tied for the league in receiving touchdowns with 7. This rookie. And somebody asked me earlier, right before the start of the season, well, what do you put your over under for Jordan Addison? I said, well, JJ's going to get 16 to 1,700. Hawkinson going to get 9 to 1,100. KJ Osborne probably gets 7 to 900. So he said, I put the over under at 850 for Jordan Addison, and I took the under. And right now, he's exactly on pace to get just slightly over 850 yards. Now, again, he, took advantage of the fact that JJ's not there. And, oh, by the way, now that Kirk's gone, we'll see, because people's numbers are probably going to go down just a little bit with Jaren Hall, just maybe. But for right now, whatever happens for the rest of this season and beyond, having 2 wide receivers like this, I'm not going to say that they're Carter and Moss, but what I am going to say is Carter was in the twilight of his career, and having Randy next to him kind of extended his career out a couple years. And of course, Randy is Randy, but you could make the argument that these two guys are right there with Carter and Moss, who are, in my opinion, the best duo. I know you got, Torrey Holden, Isaac Bruce. They were a pretty good duo. Yeah, they're pretty good. Having said all that, Jordan Addison, what else can you say about this kid? He's just unbelievable. Back to the comments. And you know what? Let's hit the reset button. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit that like button for me. Let's see. Let's get this pushed out a little bit more. Hit that like button for me. And if you don't already do so, hit that subscribe button for me as well. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to me, but I want to give a real shout out to the last 24 hours or so. Well, the last 36 hours or so that the support has just continued to come in. And I am truly humbled and eternally grateful for everybody who shows up, everybody who hits that subscribe button. And as Dave from First and SKOL says, we're just trying to keep building this community. We just building this community. And I thank you guys so much. We got Darian in the building. What's going on, Darian? My guy. I appreciate you. You're my guy too. I appreciate you. Can we coach Two Evil still has development potential? Okay. See, that's why I love you guys. I can go through my themes. I give you my opinions, but this is the fun part. This really is the fun part. SKOL died yesterday. You repping the purple. Well, I don't know about that. But I like Darren's comment here. The O-line gets fixed in the first time since 2017, and then we lose our quarterback. Yeah, I might touch on that. I just might touch on that. Oh, yes, I forgot to say it. So thank you, Mary. He just destroyed. Jair Alexander was running his mouth all off season about how he shut down Justin Jefferson when he had two of his friends over the top every single play. And he had one pass breakup and did the gritty in front of him. Like, dude, you ain't that good. So it was just delicious to see Jordan Addison burn him. And a lot of Packer fans are almost done with him because he gets hurt so much and he's not as good as he was. So, okay, maybe Hill and Waddle. All right. Yeah, it's debatable. I'll leave it at that, Mateo. But you got a good point. I agree. Metellus, boy, oh boy. Him and Cam Bynum, they're going to be our two starters next year if Harrison Smith isn't back. Both of those guys have developed and have done such a great job. Six shooter. Oh yes, Jair Alexander's post-game press conference. He was just like, yeah, sick of losing. Yep. He was doing the Marshawn Lynch. Well, I'm just here so I don't get fined. The Lions copied the Thriller. Oh, really? Okay. Come up with your own stuff. Addison looking way better than Jameson Williams. Just a little bit, Sarah. Just a little bit. We got Doreen in the building. What's going on, Doreen? Thank you so kindly for joining us. Everybody, give a shout out to Doreen with a first timer here. You know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of this, Doreen. This is what we do for the first timers. There we go. There we go. Yeah, Jake Reed and Chris Carter were good too, but I'll still take Randy and Chris. All right, there you go. Jair is a bum. All talk, need a safety. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Appreciate you, love. Let's get up to a 1K. Let's get up to it. I appreciate you, Frozen. I do. It really does humble me. It really does. Okay, Jerry Rice, because they were old at the time. Now, Jerry Rice and Jonathan Taylor, I'll give you that one. But Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, they were old at that point. They were old. I'm not going to say they were decrepit, but they were old. Yeah, T-Bass. I started at 8:30 yesterday, so I got 24 in the last 36. And outside of the day that I appeared on Score North on Write That Down, yesterday into today was my biggest day. So thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, SKOL Mafia. Okay. Steve's like, I'm glad I found you in rap. Lots of great. Oh, yeah. If you didn't have a chance to check out me in rap last night, Rapping for Days, that's on my channel. It'll be on his channel next week. So we rotate every other week. But yeah. T-Bass, you're 100% right. If they trade for Kyler Murray, I'm going to lose it. Yeah. I want nothing to do with Kyler Murray. Nothing. I'm sorry. Now, again, people, you got to understand when you look at the salary cap hits on overthecap.com, you got to remember to take out the signing bonus numbers because that would stay with Arizona. He's like, oh, you want 45 and 50 some million? No, it would be 36, 42s. It's a reasonable contract, but I want nothing. I want nothing to do with Kyler Murray. Sorry. Did you see? Oh, yes, Steve, I did. Baby, there was actually one where Addison's holding a baby of Alexander and a baby of the guy last week from the 49ers who stole the ball from him once, and then Addison got him back. So, yes, that was absolutely hilarious. That meme was awesome. Frozen says, Chris, yeah, no, they weren't a bad duo. They were not. All you young punks don't remember Ahmad. Okay, yeah, okay. Ahmad and Sammy we're good for their time. Absolutely. I would still put Carter and Moss above them. They're Hall of Famers, and Rashad and Sammy White are not. But hey, when you're talking about great duels in the history, it's all good. Vikings fan 123. Shout out Vikings fan. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. That is the old school. Can we get more Cam Akers and Ty and less Alexander Madison? I sure hope so. I love Alexander Madison. Again, I've said it a million times, met his father in person, and he's been on a couple of our shows, but it's not about something personal. It's about he's not producing. The Packers were one of the worst run defenses going into the game yesterday. And Alexander Madison, I said it was a breakout opportunity for him, and he didn't break out. But we finally got a rushing touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. Yay. We should be celebrating that just like we should be celebrating this W we put on Lambeau Field, but it just is what it is. Thank you, Darian. It's not that Murray can't throw. He's just too daggone short now. You're right. All righty. Let's get back to the issues at hand. But we're going to put this one up here. All right. I have stalled out for as long as I can. Is this the end of Kirk Cousins' time in Minnesota? This is the end, my only friend, the end. I don't know if it's the end or not. I could make an argument that it probably is, and I would say it's better than 50-50. He's going to be 36-year-old next year. And this is something I said earlier. Take Kirk Cousins out of this. Take the name out of this for a second. If you needed to sign a free agent quarterback who was coming off an Achilles injury and was 36 years old, we'd all say, no thanks. Give me door number 2. I'm not willing to sign a quarterback that has that kind of risk. You know what? He's not going to be able to pass a physical come March. He might not be able to pass a physical come August. So if we would say no, like let's say, I don't know, Dak Prescott. Let's say he was in the last year of his contract and he busted his ankle again or had an Achilles injury. And people say, well, hey, should we get Dak Prescott and give him, market value? No, we'd all say no. We don't want a guy coming off that kind of injury. So I'm sorry. And you know what? I've gained an appreciation for Kirk. And I never didn't like him. I just didn't love him. I'm just saying. It's a daggone shame. As I said earlier, I was going what has Patrick Mahomes done? He looked mediocre at best yesterday. They lost to the Denver Broncos? Okay. Ugh. Kirk. I'm sorry, man. I really am. What did the Kirk stands always say to us? Give Kirk a decent offensive line and we'll see how mediocre to slightly above mediocre he is. Kirk needs a better offensive line. The Vikings haven't done a good enough job of putting an offensive line in front of him. Well, the offensive line been playing pretty good. Ranked really high in ESPN rankings, Pro Football Focus rankings, for whatever you want to take those to be. But, well, if you gave Kirk Cousins an average defense, and I'll remind people he had a top 10 defense in 18 and 19, but he wasn't with O'Connell. He was with Zimmer, who didn't like him and half sabotaged him half the time. I wish I still had that. I didn't want to get copyrighted, but y'all remember that game in Zimmer's last year where Kirk went up to him and, he's grabbing him and Zimmer's pushing him. Oh, gosh. At the time, I was just like, what was that about? I'd take Kirk's side now. Absolutely. And without question. I mean, it's not even close. So it's funny. That's just so Minnesota Vikings, isn't it? We finally get Kirk, a pretty daggone good offensive line, and at least a pretty average defense, which is all we said we needed. That Kirk could actually win us a Super Bowl if he had an offensive line and just an average defense. We finally get it. And then he goes out with an Achilles injury. Why? It's kind of like the Tanya Harding thing. Why? I don't know. The football gods hate us. If you didn't already know that the football gods hate us, here's another example. Vikings fans are Charlie Brown, and the Vikings are Lucy. Putting that football. Come kick it, Chuck. Come on, Chuck. Lucy, every time you tell me to do that, you pull the ball away, and I'm landing on my butt. Oh, I won't do that to you again, Chuck. I've done it 1,000 times. I won't do it again. It's not even funny for me to do it anymore. And she still does. The Vikings have found another way to break our hearts. And it wasn't even in the playoffs. It was at the midway point. We played 8 games. We got 9 more to go. I know 17 in midway point. Technically, the midway point is halftime against the Dirty Birds. But whatever. They just broke our hearts a little earlier this time. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Kirk Cousins retires. Julie might go up to him, because Julie, she's in his ear and then some, which is fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. Ava has this song that was a sample from Bon Jovi. Oh, actually, technically, it was a sample from Bonnie Tyler. But if all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast. Yeah. In the Cousins household, the queen's on the throne. And that ain't a bad thing at all, But I wouldn't be surprised if he retired. He's made a bucket load of money. $185 million over 6 years. Kirk can say he's competitive and wants to keep going, but it all depends on his rehab, and it all depends on how soon he can get back. Because, like I said, he's not going to be able to get back to show that he's recovered by the start of free agency and the start of the new year. So the Vikings are going to have to make a choice. And the Vikings are going to have to make a choice. And I'm pretty sure that they're not going to bring him back. And I don't say that in a disparaging way, but I say all that to say this. Kirk offered him a discount, and the Vikings didn't take it. So even before this injury, outside of going on a ridiculous playoff run, the Vikings had given the indication that they weren't guaranteed to bring him back. And now with this injury, an Achilles, 36 years old, I don't know. I don't think so. But I will say this. My Mount Rushmore of Vikings quarterbacks is Fran Tarkenton, Tommy Kramer, Dante Culpepper, and Kirk Cousins. If you want to put Kirk above Dante by a slight margin, I'm not going to argue with you. I would put Dante above Kirk by a slight margin, but you're splitting hairs. But at the end of the day, 5.5 seasons, and he's on the Mount Rushmore. Now, does that say something about Kirk? Or does that something say about the Minnesota Vikings not really having too many franchise quarterbacks? I don't know. Take your pick. Yes, we've had a lot of one-hit wonders. Brett Favre, Case Keenum, to a certain extent, Jeff George, Randall Cunningham, to a certain extent, Gus Frerotte. Yeah, we had a lot of one-hit wonders. Warren Moon was a 3-hit wonder, and Wade Wilson was a 5-year wonder. So Wade Wilson would actually be number 5, and not because of talent, because there's been plenty of more talented guys, but you got to have some longevity in order to be on my Mount Rushmore. So Kirk, take a bow. There were times you drove us crazy because we knew you had more in you, and you showed us that the last year and a half. Wish it wasn't like this, because we had started figuring some stuff out on the offensive line and the defense. Like I've mentioned, we've just won our 3rd game in a row to get back to 500 at 4-4. I mean, we started out 1-4. We win 3 games in a row. Coming up on the easy part of the schedule. I'm telling you right now, with Kirk Cousins, they beat the Dirty Birds. against the Saints, hopefully with Justin Jefferson back, they win that game. Denver, Sunday Night Football in Denver. I would think the Vikings would win, but after the Broncos just put a W up against KC, I don't know anymore. Then we got the Bears, then the bye week, and then the Las Vegas Raiders. It was setting up where they could have had an 8-game winning streak going into Cincinnati. Man alive. That sucks. That really sucks. All right, you guys. I gotta get back to your comments because that's what I do. That is absolutely what I do. I love interacting with you guys. When you need 3 points, Madison will get you 3. If you need 3 yards, I'll get you 1.9. There you go. There you go. Madison needs to. Madison show. Wait, the Madison show needs to end. Cost me $100. Sorry, Steve. Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Oh, that's terrible. Shout out Caesar in the building. What's going on, Caesar? Thank you so kindly for joining me. Would you trade a 6th or a 7th round pick to get Keenum? No. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. So I'll say no for right now, but at the end of the day, no, I don't think so. If they do decide to bring him back, major discount. Yeah, but I still say no, and I'm gonna talk about that here just a second. But I appreciate you, Steve. I appreciate you. Please, no Keenum talk. Isn't a Disney movie. People want to withstand a quarterback whose knee is not currently connected to his ankle. Yeah. You're right. All right. Hey, good to see you, Steve. I don't know if you're still in the building or not, but if not, I appreciate you. I appreciate you either way. If we sign Kirk to extension, we have literally learned nothing. Yes, exactly. And again, I'm going to get back to that. T-Bass, football gods may have given us a blessing in disguise. Give us a road to move on from Kirk. Maybe. Mick Andrews, yes, Zimmer was steamed. Yes, he was. Drop shot, the next Netflix special, she already seen. Yes, I would agree. She looked like she was like, okay, I'm not going to put it in the Tom Brady and Giselle category, but she was just like, okay, what else are we doing here? The Cousins recently bought a golf course retirement. Oh, okay. I did not know that. Thank you, Worthless. I appreciate you. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying, it appears she wears the pants. That's okay. That's all right. I ain't saying that that's a bad thing. This could be one of those sometimes when you win, you really lose, and sometimes when you lose, you really win thing you talk about. Yeah. All I'm saying to that, Worthless, and that's a very good point, is we had turned the corner. Like, after starting out 1-4, we all thought they were going to lose to San Francisco. And and then it would have been 2-5. And I would have been like, sell. Daniil Hunter, Harrison Smith, KJ Osborne, Ezra Cleveland. And if you could get Kirk to do it, him too. But then they beat San Francisco. And it's just like, oh, okay. Now you've shown us something. And we're going to put a W on Lambeau. We're going to be 4-4. And then we got 6 more games we can run off, or however many it would have been at that point. I disagree, Bob, but that's all right. But I totally disagree on Kramer. But that's all right. Cunningham, again, one-hit wonder. See, I put the guys with longevity at the top. One-hit wonders, they're in the next category because for me, longevity. I have Cap in there. Tremendous. Oh, absolutely. Joe Cap, but again, longevity. But hey, he took the team to a Super Bowl, so you're right. But that's why I have my rankings the way I do. And nobody's wrong. Caesar, I have to disagree. I used to give Kirk a lot of grief because he didn't meet the expectations. And in fairness to Kirk, those expectations were put on him by the Vikings, and to a certain extent, it wasn't entirely fair. But no, I'm not going to give that one. I'm sorry, Caesar. But hey, like I said, this is what's great about America. Everybody has an opinion, and everybody has an opinion, as the late, great Dennis Green would say. Shout out to Mick in the building. 2-Minute Tommy will always be my favorite. I came in, I was born in 79, so I got to see the tail end of Tommy Kramer. I didn't get to see him completely in his prime, but I've actually met Tommy Kramer in person at one of those signing deals they did. I met Tommy Kramer, Keith Millard, and Henry Thomas. That was a good day. Somebody very dear to me and I went because it was literally 5 minutes away from where we were at the time. And Tommy Kramer doesn't quite have it all up there anymore. All the drinking and all the hits he took, but he was just a great dude. All three of them were great dudes. Ryan says Tarkington, Culpepper, Tommy, and Kirk. Okay, same guys, different order. That's fine. What's up, D. Will? How's it going? Thanks for kindly for joining me. Mary says, what was pond? He's still pondering why he came into the NFL in the first place. Yeah, Two-Tone, he was playing the best ball of his life. You're absolutely right. What happened to Jordan Tiama? I have no idea. I really don't. So I'm not going to cap and pretend like I know something I don't. I'm just not. Just because he's throwing the ball around doesn't mean it. Yeah, I know. Trade Madison to Canada. I don't know that they take him. You'd probably have to throw a draft pick in. And again, I'm not trying to be whatever, but I'm just saying, all off season, I said, okay, he's ready to take the reins and to not be number 2 and to be the head of this running back by committee, to be the chairman of the board is what I called him. And he hasn't performed. I'm sorry. Yes, indeed. Yeah. Yes. You're right. You are right. I'm with you. Time to move on, even if Cousins didn't get hurt. Yes, that's what I'm saying. I would have been. Here's again. I've done this a couple times, but if you haven't heard me say it, here's going into the season. This is what I said. If you miss the playoffs, Kirk, gone. Losing a wild card, gone. Losing division round, gone. Win the NFC Championship game, regardless of how the Super Bowl played out. Bring him back. And if you get to the NFC Championship game and lose, it's kind of a 50-50 depending on how the game went. So, but yes, by and large, I was ready to move on. Not because, and it has nothing to do with him. Nothing to do with him. It has to do with this roster construction and all that other good stuff. Caesar says, either compete or tank, no middle ground. I totally agree with you. And that's why I said I hate this competitive rebuild BS. You either are competing or you're not. But being stuck in the middle is the worst place to be. I've said it. I've done this one before. 18 years the Wills have owned this team. 4 seasons of 6 wins or less. 4 seasons with 11 wins or more. And 10 seasons between 7 and 10. Oh, that's consistently mediocre. You've been to 2 NFC championship games in 18 years. That's once a decade, basically. Sometimes being a train is a good thing. And sometimes if you're talking about winning a Super Bowl, you have to have some ups and downs to refresh your roster. There's other things in life where you want to be the train and you don't want the highs and lows. You don't want to have a higher ceiling at the cost of a lower floor. But at the end of the day, that's what's going to make tomorrow interesting. I think Kwesi is going to want to do some selling, but the question isn't whether Kwesi is going to want to. The question is, will the Wilfs let him? Because let's be honest here. Let's really be honest. They should trade Danielle Hunter and get some draft capital in return, unless you can get him to sign an extension now. My first choice would be to extend Danielle Hunter. My second choice would be to trade him, because I don't want to get to the end of this season and then not get anything in return for him. And I don't want to hear about compensatory picks in 2025, because that's a number you stick into the computer. For every free agent you lose, you get some positive points. And for every free agent you sign, you get some negative points. So there's no guarantee that they get a 3rd round compensatory pick for Danielle Hunter. That's what his value would be all by itself. But it's not just all by itself. Yeah, you'd get something for Kirk if he left. You'd get something for Danielle if he left. KJ, Ezra Cleveland. Yeah. But then next offseason, if we sign players, that's going to diminish the returns we get. So no, I would trade him. If I can't get him signed, I trade him. And I'm sorry, I just got done talking about what a great job Brian Flores has done. But you got to think long-term. Short-term pains, long-term gains. I've said that a bazillion times. All right. Well, I think I just answered your question. So there you go. Mary Fist. Let's see. He wants. Well, yeah. Shout out NFL. Number 7, Akers should be the running back. Don't know why Kevin doesn't realize. I don't either. I've said the same thing for about 2 weeks now. I've said the same thing for 2 weeks. And I like Alexander Madison, but he's just a number 2. He's just a number 2 at this point. We tried him. And that's nothing against him. That's not against him. That's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. You are who you are. A lot of talk about Tommy Kramer and a bunch of other guys. Trade Hunter to Jacksonville or Miami for a first. Embrace the suck and hit refresh. I totally agree. If you can get it for, it would be roster building and GM malpractice if you had an opportunity to get another first round pick for Danielle Hunter. I don't care. You have to look at this as if you lost the San Francisco game and that you're 3-5. That's how you have to ostensibly look at it. And at the end of the day, this team ain't going anywhere. The best you could hope for would be to squeak into the playoffs as a wild card. Now, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Nano Joe, what's going on, Nano? Good to see you. It's been a minute. I appreciate you, man. I don't see them trading any more. Giants traded their star DM. They're 2-6 and tanking. The Vikings 100% going to be 500 purgatory. Exactly what I just said. Exactly. And this purgatory, this middle mediocre thing is the worst thing. And it's driving me crazy because that is by and large what this organization has been with since its inception and definitely in my lifetime. I don't care that they have more regular season wins than any other of the 4 major men's professional sports teams and the best winning percentage for a team that's never won a championship. And I mean world championship. I know we got the NFL championship 69. I'm talking world championships here. Okay. So all I'm going to say is, yes, I am so done with being mediocre and being in the middle. It drives me nuts. Ooh, y'all putting something in the chat. What's going on? Oh, 16-13. The Raiders hanging in. Okay. All right. Although I don't know that I really care all that much anymore, but hey, we'll see. Oh, you met Scott Studwell. Dad used to take brother and I training camp. Oh, yes. He told us to wait here and he's going to bring something out from team. Okay. Bob Sweet says we must keep Hunter. I mean, I get it. And again, I'll talk a little bit more on my last theme. So pick 6, Jaren, not better than Kirk-tober. We'll see. Oh, pick 6. Okay. All right. Now I get it. Even Richard Sherman yesterday was talking about how the worst outcome is being in the middle. Yes. Actually, you wouldn't be drafting 12th if you're in the middle because, again, there's 32 teams, right? Last I checked, there's 32 teams, and 14 of them go to the playoffs. So the first team to miss the playoffs is at the 18th pick. So realistically, if you're in the middle, you're talking about picks 15 to 18. So at the end of the day, I'm just so sick of being in the middle. It just drives me crazy. Trade Madison for a fully guaranteed pop. I want to mock Bob. That's why I love you. That's why I love this group. You all got a bunch of one-liners. I can't even pick line of the night after all the great lines that we've had so far this evening. So at the end of it, that was pretty good. All right, let's get back to the last theme. Because I'm running on 48 minutes. You know me. I keep telling myself, hey, stay under an hour. Yeah, right. That'll be it. The future is now. Jaren Mahomes Hall, as affectionately called by myself and Rap from Purple Pocket Podcasts. The future is now. It's time for Jaren Hall. We got 9 games left. I want him starting all 9 games. I have zero interest. Zero. In fact, I've got a negative infinity interest in bringing in some scrap heap guy. Some slappy off the scrap heap. Say that 4 times fast. I have zero interest in. I have zero interest in Jameis Winston. I have zero interest in Andy Dalton. I have zero interest in Teddy Bridgewater. I have zero interest in Case Keenum. If you need to bring somebody in here for a week because Nick Mullins is still on IR and you don't want to elevate Sean Mannion from the practice squad, fine. I don't care about that sort of situation. But I want zero to do with trading away draft picks to bring in somebody else. No. And I'm just going to say it. Hell to the no. Okay? That's just me. Because we need all the draft capital we can get going into next year. We need all of it. And the reason I want to have Jaren Mahomes Hall play the rest of the season, these 9 games, it's a 9-game audition. And it's a win-win. Because if Jaren Mahomes Hall has something, like he turns into the next Russell Wilson, as highly as unlikely as that is, well, then you don't need to draft a quarterback in the first round next year because you got your guy. You found your diamond in the rough. And if Jaren Mahomes Hall is absolutely god-awful, then you're going to have a higher draft pick. You won't be in that 15 to 18 range. The best case scenario is that you go 5-4 in these 9 games and end up at 9-8. That's your best case scenario for any reasonable expectations. And so, yes, you might be able to sneak in as the wild card. Now, sneaking into the wild card with a 5th round draft pick who came in halfway through the season, that's different than sneaking into the wild card with Kirk Cousins. You got to adjust your expectations as to, okay, under these circumstances and this result is one thing, and these circumstances and this result, even if it's the same result, means a little bit more. I'll say again, I would love to see Jaren Hall go 6-3, 7-2, but that's that. I mean, again, even though we've got a pretty decent schedule coming up, that would be ridiculous. That'd be ridiculous. But there's a couple things I like about Jaren Hall. He seems to be soaking up all of the information that he's gotten being under the tutelage of Kevin O'Connell, watching Kirk Cousins, that sort of thing. But in his interview today, he was asked, how prepared are you all of a sudden to just be thrust in as a starter? Let's see what he said there.
Very. I have a great coaching staff around me. Coach O'Hara has done a great job, preparing me. Coach Grant on the side with him, the KO, so it's a great coaching staff. I feel like they've done a great job preparing all of us each and every week, making sure that we dot our I's, cross our T's, and are ready to play. And that's just the professional approach you take every week. And I pride myself on preparation. So once you get on the field, it's just a game. And so I feel like, I'm more than capable and ready to, do whatever's asked of me.
All right. So here's the deal. Anytime a coach gets hired and has an introductory press conference, they say, oh, wow, did he win the press conference or did he lose the press conference? Jaren Hall won the press conference. He was eloquent, loquacious. He had it going on. The moment doesn't seem to be too big for him. With all due respect to Kirk Cousins and Kevin O'Connell, whenever I put one of these videos together, I got to make so many edits to take out the knows and yes. And Jaren Hall, I only had to make one edit. He at least knows how to speak in a leader type way. He seems like he's not scared of being the leader. And that's not a disparaging thing against Kirk. I'm just saying. Like, this guy is a rookie taken in the 5th round. Yes, he's a little bit older because he went to BYU and he's, had 2 years doing on the Mormon missions. Okay, fine. But he's a little more mature. People are always scared. Oh, he's 25 years old. Yeah, but he's 23 in football years because he took 2 years off. So I'm not saying get his bust ready for Canton, Ohio, and that he's on the fast track to the Hall of Fame. But excuse me, I'm also not going to say that he's already a bust. I've heard both sides of that equation. Oh, Jaren Hall is ready to be the unquestioned starter in 2024. Slow your roll. That's preposterous. And I've also heard Jaren Hall has shown me enough that I know he's never going to turn into anything. That's preposterous too. Once again, the extremes are just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Jaren Hall, he was playing with 2s and 3s in the preseason, and he got better each game. He showed some progress, and that's all you can really ask from the guy. Saying he's already shown you that he's going to be nothing. No. Saying he already showed you that he is the unquestioned star. No. He's got a 9-game audition, and I'm here for it. Like I said, it's a win-win situation. If he sucks, you're in better position to get the next quarterback. If he's really good, you might make the playoffs. And you say to yourself, okay, now we don't have to spend a 1st-round pick on a quarterback. We can get a defensive tackle, get another cornerback, get a lot of different things. You're right. It would suck if we ended up about 7-9. Like, let's say he went 3-6, and then you're 7-10. Excuse me. Still getting used to this 17-game schedule. It's only been a couple years, right? Anyway. Yeah, you ended up 7-10. Once again, ending up in the middle is the worst thing. You want answers one way or the other. You want to be able to say, yeah, he's ready. He's got it. He has picked up on this. Or you want him to be just terrible. So we'll see. But as I have said for a long time, when talking about Kirk Cousins and whether we need to find a succession plan for him or not, Oh, well, what's Justin Jefferson going to think if you have to get a new quarterback who's not as good as Kirk Cousins? You know what? This is a pretty daggone good infrastructure for a young quarterback. You've got a very good offensive line. You've got 2 number 1 wide receivers. You got a pretty daggone good tight end. You don't have much of a running game. And I know everybody say, well, the best thing that a young quarterback can have is a really good running game. Okay, we don't have that. So maybe you use a draft pick, an earlier draft pick on a running back. I don't care. I'm just saying. To be plopped into the situation where he's got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, and a good offensive line. Yeah, we got to get through one more game at minimum before JJ can get back. And it seems to me that JJ is going to be ready to go. You know, they say he was hopping around and doing jumping jacks and whatever else in the locker room. And that, you know, at the end of the day, he's just ready to go. So I'm interested to see what he does. Jaren Hall. I'm just saying, he's got a lot of tools and he's got a lot of infrastructure. And if he fails, okay, move on. It's as simple as that. Let's hit the reset button. If you didn't wipe your feet at the door, hit that like button for me. And if you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days, hit that subscribe button. We build in this community. And as you all know, we love this community. And I speak for all the content creators that I'm affiliated with. I'm talking about Dave from First and SKOL, Dave and Tyler. I'm talking about Rap from Purple Pocket Podcast, Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk, the GG Boys. They also had a great show. Rhino, One Bar in Lupagus. That we all say the same thing. We absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you, Dave. If the Vikings lose, the Vikings have to be if the Lions will lose. Well, it doesn't matter. If the Lions lose, then I can guarantee you the Vikings don't do any selling because then they're going to say, okay, we're right in this. And they very well might do that even if the Lions win, because realistically, you just need to keep pace with the Lions because you got 2 games on them. So you can make up those 2 games and have the tiebreaker. Theoretically. And that's what, you know, what was so disheartening about Kirk going down yesterday is we had an opportunity to just run off these games. Now, Detroit has a lot of the same opponents that we do, so it was going to be a dogfight. But yes, it would have came down to those last 2 games. And I just don't know. Because again, I don't want to spend draft capital. Not for, again, if it was Kirk, maybe. But for Jaren Hall, I don't know. I don't think I would. I think I would just stand pat or, dare I say, sell off some pieces and just see what Jared can do. That's what I would do. Time for a rant. You right. Dallas has 3 quarterbacks. Why not ask for Cooper Rush if you're not convinced? I'm not convinced on Hall one way or the other. So I want to find out. I don't want to get Cooper Rush in here. And then after this year, I still don't know what we got in Jaren Hall. That's why I want to find out what we got in Jaren Hall. That's just me, though. Speaking into it. Well, shout out Todd in the building. What's going on? You know, I forgot when I hit this one, but yeah. Shout out Todd in the building. I appreciate you, Todd. I do. Cooking in the hall. Yeah, all right. That's not bad either. That's not bad. If the Wilfs don't allow Kwesi to build his team now that Kirk era is over, he's never going to be in control. Yes. He'd only be a figurehead. Absolutely. Without question. And that's what I'm saying about the Wilfs. And I said this, was it last week or 2 weeks ago, when I said the Wilfs need to let Kwesi do what he needs to do. Okay. You fired Mike Zimmer. You fired Rick Spielman. You brought in O'Connell and you brought in Kwesi, and you told Kwesi, no. We're running it back for at least the first year. And I hope Kwesi said, okay, I'll run it back 1 year and we'll do it your way. But I want the authority to be able to do something that I see fit. Because why would you fire Rick Spielman and bring in another guy, whoever it may have been, in this case, Kwesi, because they said no to Ryan Poles? Why would you tell Kwesi he's got to play by the same playbook that Rick Spielman did? Because if you're using the same playbook, it don't matter who the GM is. I mean, there's little things on the margins here or there, sure. But why in the world? The Wilfs got to understand it. They need to understand that sometimes you have to take 1 step back to take 2 steps forward. So hopefully Kwesi is in their ear enough to be able to do what he needs to do. Appreciate you, Mary. Play it out. Yeah, absolutely. Trade Madison for a lifetime supply. I've certainly heard trade. I would go Coors. I know Mary would go Coors, but yes, I would do that. 6th round pick. Yeah, who knows? Brock Purdy. I mean, it's anomaly. I mean, they lost 3 games in a row, but who the heck knows? Who the heck knows? Can't wait for the first Hail Mary. Yeah, you might actually get it to the end zone. 2 evil, 4 and 13. Yeah, okay. Again, would I rather Jaren Hall show us something and we get into the playoffs and maybe win a game? Yes, that would be my first choice. But you're right. It's either be great or be pitiful. Don't do something in the middle. Yeah, he is very steady-minded. Absolutely. That's a good call, Frozen. That's a very good call. There's a reason why these guys are. I love them there. Yeah. I do like yes, he comes off as confident. He absolutely comes off as confident. He doesn't come off scared. And whether he has it or not, I don't know, but he does project professionalism, leadership, willingness to learn. I remember I had one during training camp where he's just like, yeah, I'm just here soaking up everything from Kirk and Nick that I can. Okay. I like that. I agree with you, Mary. It was very impressive. It absolutely fair. Okay. Maturity. Yeah, that's another one. I can tell already Saturday night I'm not going to be hyped for Jaren Hall to lose. You know what? Atlanta's nothing special. We can get that. It's snowing. What? You're telling me it's snowing there? You got to be kidding. I'm not ready for it. That's another good one, Frozen. The Hall of Fame is already named after him. I like it. That was good. You're snowing. Oh my gosh. 6 shooter, where are you at? I know where Sarah's at, but where are you at, 6 shooter? Help me out. Hail Mary to Addison for the game winner. Yeah, I'll take that. Football gods are giving this division to the Lions. Yeah. Everybody's quarterback is hurt or terrible. You're not wrong. Under a wind advisory. Oh, geez, Mary. All right. Stay safe up there. Stay safe. If you don't trust Hall, trade for Cooper Rush. I'm saying they may or may not trust him, Steve. They may or may not. And of course, they're going to come out and say that they do, because what else are you going to say? Of course. But at the end of the day, they got to try. They haven't tried yet. They have to absolutely try. So y'all can keep it. It's going to be 39 degrees. Yeah, whatever, drop shot. Get out of here. They will simplify the playbook. Yes, they will simplify it. He got thrown into the wolves yesterday, and he had a nice completion on 3rd down. Yes, the strip sack, he did drop back a little too far. And of course, the tackles are used to, how Kirk, does what he does. And yeah, he did stuff, but I'm sure he's going to learn from that. How do you see this team finishing? Well, again, you put this in there, and I probably had already said it, but I can't get into the draft stuff. I really can't see it. I don't know enough about it. I'm not like Tyler, who really gets into college football. I mean, yes, when we were 1-4 or whatever it was, I wanted Drake May. I want Drake May over Caleb Williams, but I don't know. But honestly, I can see them finishing. I mean, again, I think the best scenario that you can reasonably expect is 5-4 over the next 9 games, and then you're 9-8, and then you're close. Worst case scenario, you're probably 2-7. But I would only want them to go 2-7. If you really want them to be bad and just lose all the games, you want them to go 1-8. And that one is the Green Bay Packers on New Year's Eve. That's the only one. If you're going to go down that road, you want to be 5-12, because then we swept the Packers, baby. Shout out to Angel in the building. Cheers to you as well, Skolja. Cheers to you as well. I appreciate you. Saw some people saying they were done watching the fight. Whatever. Those people are idiots. Yeah, whatever. Something happened today, Dave, that I'm wondering about. Why did Dubes get benched in Arizona? I have no idea. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I really don't. I appreciate you, Barber. Yes, we have the best community. And you know what's funny? And I've said this before a couple of times, but for those of you who haven't heard it, I've watched other teams' content creators, and unlike us as Vikings content creators, they don't try to help each other out. They act like it's a competition. And it's like, really? Because I know a lot of you people tonight in this chat. I've seen you on Dave's channel. I've seen you on Vikings First and SKOL. I've seen you on One Bar and Lupagus, Rhino Show, Vikings Uncensored, at all. GG, Dave. Yeah, we're all in these chats. And I love when Gary says to me, Justin, you got to figure out a way that you guys are not on at the same time. I'm like, Gary, there's only so many hours in a day. Like, that's why I go at 8:15 on Monday night, because I know everybody else is going at 6 or 7 or whatever else. So at the end of the day, we absolutely have the best community. We shout each other out. We say, hey, go sub these guys. Other teams, and I don't get it. Like, oh, you can't be subscribed to both of us. You have to choose. Why the heck would you do that? I don't get it. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I totally get it. Well, that too. There is that. You are absolutely correct, SKOL Mafia. You are absolutely correct. Yeah, Detroit does have they got a really good offensive line. They got a real good offensive line. But ride with Jaren Mahomes Hall. Yes, I totally agree. Lions fumble. Really? Hold on. Oh, that was a while ago. So, okay, never mind. Trade Ezra. I would. I don't know that anybody's going to take him because he's been injured the last couple. But yeah, if you get a 4th-round pick for Ezra Cleveland, I'd do it. Absolutely, I'd do it. Better idea. Don't trade for a quarterback. Let's go get one of these defensive. Yeah, if you really wanted to keep this train going, if you really wanted to say, you know what, we're not going to go up and down. We're going to stay steady. We're going to stay steady. Yeah, you make a trade with Washington. Get Chase Young in here, for example. And now you really got a good defensive line, and you hope that the defense can carry you, and you hope that Jaren Mahomes Hall can just be a game manager. I wouldn't mind that, but no, I am not trading draft capital for a quarterback. No, no, and no. SKOL TYA, Catch 84. What's going on, Curtis? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I'm looking forward to you guys' Love Boat episode. Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Would have been hilarious if we had traded Kirk to the Jets. Oh, that's nasty, Caesar. That is nasty. That, oh my gosh. Sunday, Coors Light. Yes. Now, tonight, and I haven't done it yet, somebody very dear to my heart, Smirnoff Ice Grape. 1, because the purple is purple's the color. 2, because I love grape. I mean, this is literally alcoholic grape Kool-Aid. And once again, the idea was we would have these after the Vikings win. And yesterday, I was so whatever about the win that I forgot to crack one open. So that's what I'm having right now tonight. But having said that, yes, during the game, it's always Coors Light. Always Coors Light. All right, Caesar says, you think, oh, of course KLC wants to be, no coach wants to tank. No coach. That's the thing about having the coach and general manager, the separation of church and state. Kwesi always is going to think about the future, and the general manager, and the coach is always going to think about the present. Kevin O'Connell went 13-4 last year. He's 17-8. He don't want a bunch of losses on his record. No. So Kevin O'Connell absolutely wants to stay competitive. But yeah, building the culture, yeah, but at the same time, sometimes, like I said, 1 step backwards for 2 steps forward. We need to sign who? Who's Dressler? I don't know who that is, Caesar, if I'm being honest with you. Global SKOL community, Minnesota is culture. Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree. They said 6 to 8 in Minneapolis. Boy, I got to look. I got to check the weather station out. I'm not giving up on the season yet. I feel you, Two-Tone. I feel you. I'm not giving up. I'm excited for the unknown. Yes, I am excited for the unknown too, Frozen. That's a very, very good point. And again, I don't want to come off as I'm criticizing Kirk Cousins, because I'm not. I was very happy with the progress he has made in the last year and a half. But we know what we got with Kirk. Now, maybe if he hadn't gotten hurt and this offensive line kept on improving, or at the very least stayed as good as it has been, and the defense kept on improving, then yeah, maybe he would have had something. But prior to that, he was a known quantity. You know what you got with him. So I'm looking forward to it too, Frozen. I seen Colin Hurrow say trade J. Oh, hell no. No, absolutely not. No chance. No, I don't. Colin Cowherd, no. He changes what direction he's going with his takes more than he changes his damn underwear. Okay? No, absolutely not. Again, if I got a young quarterback, I want 2 number 1 wide receivers, not just 1. I mean, you can ask a monkey. On the one hand, you got 1 female orangutan, and on the other hand, you got 2 female orangutans. Even a monkey knows that he's going to choose 2. Absolutely not. I said this before. I said because Arizona has Houston's first round pick. If Arizona called me and said, I'll give you both of our first round picks and both of our third round picks because they have Houston's third round pick as well, and we'll give you another number one in 2025 and another number two in 2026, that is what my starting point is, and I still would be 50-50 on it. I ain't trading Justin Jefferson for nothing short of Patrick Mahomes. So Colin Cowherd tripping. He tripping if he's saying that. 2 first-round picks? That's it? And again, would the Cardinals make that deal? Probably not. So end of discussion. End of discussion. Oh, he meant Reisner. Okay, I got. Oh, yeah, I would absolutely bring Reisner back. I absolutely would. I heard Colin Cowherd let off. It will melt in April. Yeah, there's that. All right, what we got here? Adam Schefter on Monday Night Football is talking about the Vikings not making any moves. Yeah, I don't think they will. I really don't. I really, really don't think they're going to make any moves. I really don't. So I'm going to wrap this up here in the next 4 minutes, and I'm going to hold myself to that because that'll get me to exactly 9:30 in an hour and 15 minutes. In fact, I might be done before that. I guess, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Hall. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing him because it's something different. It's something new. I'm not saying that I'm happy that this happened. I had somebody say, Justin, you hated Kirk Cousins so much, and I bet you're happy. No, I was happy with how they were playing. They won 3 games in a row. They beat the Packers. We couldn't take any joy out of beating the damn Packers yesterday because we lost our quarterback. Come on. Come on, y'all. Do not tell me that I'm happy that we lost Kirk Cousins. Don't tell me I'm happy about that. Yes, I've made my opinion on Kirk clear. And I've made my opinion known that I think his ceiling was the divisional round of the playoffs. I've made my feelings known that after this year, I just went through my thresholds of what I would do with Kirk earlier, that it was time to move on because you can better build your entire roster if you don't have a market value quarterback. And you got to hope that you can find a young quarterback who is, somewhere between 10 and 15 in the NFL, but is costing you peanuts so that you can build up the rest of the roster around him. But that doesn't mean I'm happy that Kirk Cousins was injured and is out for the season. That's preposterous. I mean, y'all tripping, these fools out there. And again, yeah, number one Kirk fan, Joe Spinoza, he turned off his Twitter after Kirk Cousins went there. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Because he bought that. He ain't one no Viking fan. Never was. And again, if you like Kirk, you like Kirk. That's fine. I don't care. I'm just saying. Oh, but that was pretty funny. That was hilarious. Can we trade away our kicker? I don't think anybody would take him. Yeah, I'm kind of done with him too. Thanks for the content. Yeah, I appreciate you. And like I said, it's a lot of fun doing this with you guys. It absolutely is. Do you think Mullen or Mannion are a good mentor for Hall? I don't know. I think KOC's the mentor. KOC's the one. I mean, those other guys are just KOC's the mentor, and Mullins and Mannion are just the guys helping out the mentor. That's how it is. Bob, it was a joyless day. Yeah, it was a joyless day for me for a lot of different reasons. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we just beat the Packers. We should be happy. We should be thrilled. But I digress. Adam Schefter just said on Monday night he does. Yeah. I totally agree. I mean, I didn't say it, but apparently if you criticize Kirk, you're a hater. Yes. I hope that I don't offend any Swifties here. I don't know if any of y'all Swifties or not. Okay. But here's the thing. A Swiftie will say that if you don't unabashedly love Taylor Swift and think she's the greatest artist of all time, then by definition, you're a hater. No, there's 3 different groups. There's the actual haters that think Taylor Swift's music is garbage and that she sucks. There's the Swifties who think that she walks on water. And then there's a group in the middle that, maybe likes her but doesn't love her or doesn't consume any Taylor Swift songs at all. If you don't consume any Taylor Swift, that don't make you a hater. It just means you don't consume that kind of music. But a Swiftie would tell you that if you don't listen to Taylor Swift, that you're a Taylor Swift hater, which is preposterous. Same thing with Kirk stance. If you don't think Kirk is a top 3 quarterback, you're a Kirk Cousins hater. I had him at hypothetically around 6 to 8. Oh, you're a Kirk hater. I have him in the top 10, and that makes me a Kirk hater because I don't have him in the top 5. Yep. That's what Kirk stands would say. That's what Kirk stands are like Swifties. You know, you either love them or you hate them. There's no in between. There's no in between with Kirk stands and no in between with Swifties there. What is great is going through all this. Hey, I appreciate you, Mary. I appreciate you. Good luck tomorrow. And if you want to reach out to me and let me know if there's anything we can do. Or, you know, like I said, one more time, prayers up for Mary, you guys. Great show, and I appreciate you. Do you think the Vikings need to get a bridge quarterback? No, I hate the ideas of bridge quarterbacks. If Jaren Hall is not the answer, then you take a guy in the first round and you make him the starter right away. This notion of it's one. Here's the thing: there's a difference between a bridge quarterback that's already there as an incumbent versus a bridge quarterback you have to go out and get. Okay, so if the Vikings had traded up to get like Anthony Richardson, who was going to theoretically sit for 1 year behind Kirk Cousins, who was in the last year of his contract, that's a different scenario than getting a rookie and signing some guy who hasn't been in the system, therefore not really going to be able to help the new kid out. That's a totally different scenario. So no, I'm out on that. I'm sick of bridge quarterbacks. I'm sick because again, that's going to cost you money that you can't rebuild the rest of your roster for. So I think the Browns are going to shop. Ain't nobody taking Deshaun Watson. They can shop him all they want. They can shop him all they want. Good night, Two-Tone. I appreciate you. Yeah. I'm not saying she doesn't. I'm just saying again, I know like 1.5 of her songs. It'll surprise no one that the one I know is Trouble. Okay. That's a catchy song. Okay. I'm not dissing her. I'm just saying that the Swifties would say I'm a Taylor hater because I only know one song and I don't care about the rest of them. That doesn't mean I said she sucks. That doesn't mean I said she's garbage. Anyway, for real, I'm y'all saying good night here. So yeah, I know y'all hitting out here. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so kindly. I'm just throwing all these up at the end. I like her. Okay. I'll one of these days I might listen to it. Maybe not. Depends on how other things in my world go right now. You know, I kind of said this the other day. I think it was Saturday, and Mafia pointed it out to me because, you know, he knows me well enough. You know, I've had some difficult things going on, and it just is what it is. You know, life comes at you, and, you know, Jack Bauer at the end of season 7 of 24 had run his course about all the choices that he made under the guise of keeping people safe. And he was telling somebody else that was in a situation where she didn't know what to do, whether to uphold the law or to bend the law to stop a terrorist attack. And Jack said, I can't answer that question for you. I've been wrestling with that question my entire life. You think you make good choices and one choice leads to the next. And at the end, he said, the only thing I can say to you is try to make choices that you can live with. And sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And with all that being said, I'm going to throw up these last chants. Kind of intrigued with Case. No, I have zero desire in Case. I have zero. But that's just me. We'll find out 3 p.m. Central Time. That's 18 hours. 18 hours from now, all the questions will be answered. All the questions will be answered. Regardless of whether it's buy, sell, or stay pat, we're going to know. And like I said, I like what KOC will probably do. Like it was said earlier, probably, you know, simplify the playbook, makes easy throws, easy plays, and just build. You know, it's a little bit at a time. It's like riding a bike. First time you ride a bike, you got your training wheels on. And after you figure out, you take one of your training wheels off, or maybe you take them both off, but you got to build. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity to see him do that. Anyway, that's all for tonight. One more time, I always do this at the end. Shout out to My Worthless Opinion and shout out to Too Evil to Hope for the $5 super chats. I very, very much appreciate you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you that has been in the building this afternoon, this evening. Justin, check out the Jean Ball piece on 24. He makes his best sports documentary, and for some reason he made it fun. Okay, I'll check it out. 24, my favorite TV show of all time. I'm not saying it's the best TV show of all time. The best TV show of all time is either Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, and I give a slight edge to Breaking Bad because of Better Call Saul, because that expanded the universe. Although House of the Dragon is expanding the Game of Thrones universe, so we'll see how that goes. But again, 24 was, again, my favorite show of all time. A reference, more reason why you're going to be getting tonight. I appreciate you, Dylan. I appreciate you. And I appreciate each and every person. I really do. It is humbling that after a year of doing this, I've gone for an hour and 20 minutes and I still got 20 some people in the building listening to me ramble on. In all seriousness, I appreciate you. Just want to see the Vikings win one Super Bowl before we die. Probably not going to be this year, but you never know. You never know. Join me tomorrow night for Under the Lights with my guy, Dave, from Minnesota Sports Talk. And if I may ask you one thing, hit the like button on the way out. And if you can go on my page to the upcoming live streams, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. Tomorrow night's show is show number 52 for me and Dave. Officially, our first show was November 1st. But this will be episode number 52. So this is our 1 year. For all of the arguing and all of the fun that Dave and I have, we made it, and we never missed a week. There was a couple of weeks where he was out and I had somebody sitting in for him, and I was out and he had somebody sitting in for me. But we have gone 52 consecutive weeks on Under the Lights. So if you could do me a favor, at the end of the show, hit the like button here, hit the like button on the upcoming live stream, and be in the building tomorrow night. For right now, of course, I started something. So SKOL Sunday. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. Will you be doing it? Well, I'm going to be at work, so it's going to be difficult to do that. And because we're going to be on at 6:30 tomorrow night, probably not. I mean, if there's a trade that's done early in the morning, I might do something over the lunch hour. But since we've already got our show, we'll probably, if there's any trades that have been made or any moves, we'll just cover it at 6:30 tomorrow night. Appreciate you, Frozen North. Appreciate you as always. D Will. Oh, yeah. Nah. I mean, again, that Justin Jefferson ridiculous trade, Arizona wouldn't do that. I'm just saying that that's what it would take to even get me to the table. That's a full deck. Yes, that's a full deck. Just like there's 52 weeks in a year and 52 cards in a deck. You are absolutely correct. Better start planning what you're going to do. Yeah. I appreciate you guys. And you didn't kill each other. You're right. You know what, Bob? That's going to be the last one I put up. We didn't kill each other. And like I always say, whether Dave and I agree with each other or not, we get a little heated, whatever. That isn't even the point. The point more than anything is it's just like, arguing with a family member. When you're done, you're still family. So thank you kindly, everybody, for joining me. As always, SKOL to the next episode. We will see you tomorrow night. Good evening. SKOL Vikes.